Hi there, Michael Eskin here with another ABC Transcription Tools demo. ABC has extremely robust support for being able to set the fonts used in the notation for all the various elements of the notation. For example, the titles, any subtitles, the composer. If you have any text in the ABC or you're using lyrics for songs, you can set the font for each of those elements. So for example, for the title, you would use the title font annotation. And then after this, you have to type a font family name. So we'll say Helvetica, and then a size. So we'll say 24. Now, I'm just guessing that Helvetica is available on my system. And another common one might be Courier. But our browsers these days have literally hundreds of fonts, and some of them are pretty cool, but what do you actually type to get them? That's kind of hard to figure out. So I've put together a utility, and you're going to need to run this initially on Chrome. And the reason is that Chrome and other browsers based on Chrome like Edge have the ability to list out all of their fonts. Once you have the fonts, I then test them against ABC to make sure that they can actually be used as font names inside those ABC annotations. So you run this on Chrome, and initially if you want, you can click the top button here and it'll show you the instructions, but I'll just walk you through it. And all you have to do is just click this button that says Get All Font Family Names from Chrome. And what this will do is it will ask Chrome to list out all of its fonts, and it'll give you both what's called the full name as well as the postscript name. And then it's going to take each of those and it's going to try to format something like ABC with it and see if it works. Because not all fonts apparently work with ABC as the text annotation font names. So I'll click this button, and it might ask you for permission to access the fonts. If it does, just say OK. And you can see that it's populated this top box here, which is kind of the raw data that it got from Chrome. And then what it's done is it's gone through each one of these and it's tested it against ABC. And it's provided a list of all of the compatible fonts that it found. And so, for example, we can copy any of these. For example, I'll just scroll down here. Let's find an interesting one. Let's say brush script MT. So we could copy that one. And we could go back to our ABC and we could paste that here. And you see we get that font. Or we'll try another one here. Let's try Chalk Duster. We can bring that one over and test it. And you see we get that font. Once you've generated these lists, you can save these to a file. And you're going to want to do this if you want to use another browser besides Chrome and want to see what fonts are available. So you can either copy the full list or the compatible list, or you can save the full list or the compatible list, but I'm going to save the full list. So it's full and postscript fonts. And if you want to save this list so that you can refer to it later, again, you could just save the ABC compatible fonts to a file and then use that later to give you a list of all of the font names you could type into your ABC. But where that full list comes into play is if you want to find out what fonts are available on a browser that doesn't support the ability to list out the fonts. For example, Firefox and Safari are not able to do this like Chrome is. But they are able to test an existing list of fonts against CSS and ABC and tell you if they actually work. So now I'm going to switch over to Firefox. And again, I've got some ABC here. I'm going to just add coolies here, and we'll go ahead and just kind of take it down to the minimum. And I'm going to want to change the title font like I did in the previous example. But again, I have no idea what fonts that Firefox supports. But I can, in the utility now running on Firefox, I can open up that full and postscript font file that I created with Chrome, and it will test everything on that list against the browser, and it will tell you which fonts are available on this browser. So for example, here's the list of fonts that it tested from the exported list from Chrome, and these are now available on Firefox. So we'll just scroll down here and we'll find something interesting. For example, let's try this Braggadocio. Okay, that's an interesting name. And we'll just go into here and we'll set a title font. Braggadocio, and you can see we get that. And we can actually set a size. We'll set it to, let's say, 30, make it pretty big. And we can go down and find another one here. Here's that chalk duster. It's apparently available in Firefox. And we'll do one more. Let's scroll down a bit. And again, just like before, you can save this full list or you can save the compatible list so that you can refer to it later. Here we go, felt tip Roman. So I've switched back to Chrome and I want to give you one last demo here. And that's of this website called wordmark.it. And it's able to show you examples of what each of these fonts actually look like. What's important is that when it shows those examples, it uses this full name to be able to identify each of those fonts. So that's where saving off this file with save full and PostScript font family names to a file can be very, very handy. So I'll go ahead and open that website. It's just wordmark.it. And we'll type in a test phrase. And again, you're going to want to run this on Chrome. So we'll just say hello world. And you can see now it's given examples of all of the fonts that it found in Chrome. So for example, here's this American Typewriter Bold, and you can see it has the full name here. And if we scroll down in the results here, you'll see there is an example called American Typewriter Bold. Here it is. And same thing, let's find another one here. We'll find, trying to find an interesting looking one. Let's scroll down. Okay, here's this Ayuthaya, but you can see it's this full name. These are full descriptive names below. So we'll just kind of scroll down a little bit and see if we can find Ayuthaya. I just want to kind of show you how they pair up. You can use this list to refer back to the Wordmark site, and then you want to use the equivalent name that would be down here in the ABC compatible font family names. So let's find that one. There it is, Ayuthaya. So this is a really handy utility. I'm demoing this using my ABC transcription tools, but I think probably any web-based utility, whether it's based on ABC.js or ABC SVG, can probably take advantage of this information for figuring out what the font family names that need to be typed into the various font tags that are available in ABC need to be.